It wasn't new, but it hurt just the same. A small child sat at the base of a tree, surrounded by hundreds of children, pointing at him. The child's face was buried in his hands, his body bunched up with the knees held close to the chest. The small child rocked back and forth against the tree. The tree itself was oily black, with thousands of branches reaching far up into a bone-white sky. Small drops of blood leaked down from the tips of the branches to the base of the tree. Then there was a sudden change. In the distance, someone new was approaching. Someone else to judge him? Someone else to laugh at him? Or perhaps someone to finally put him out of his misery.
096.
The child looked up at the approaching pair of eyes, hidden behind a mask. It was SCP-049, the Plague Doctor. The children, the tree, and the sky all fell away. They were now in a cold white cell. The creature that used to be a child rocked in the corner, sobbing to itself and shaking. It was all bones and skin, with little muscle under the pale flesh that covered its body. The doctor approached the creature and looked down at it. An authoritative voice boomed from the speakers.
Now, deal with him. Good luck.
Hello everybody, I'm TheRubber. Today, we bring you a tale from the SCP Foundation. The creature's soft cries reverberated off the walls around the doctor. All loneliness and pain. He walked over to the monster and laid a hand on the top of its head. It stopped crying, and its breathing slowed. The doctor looked perplexed, as if he had expected another reaction. He recovered quickly and looked down at the creature while stroking the top of its head.
Child, you do not have to fear me. Please, let me see.
With his free hand, the doctor moved the creature's hands from its face. The thing let out a mournful cry as the doctor looked into its eyes.
I cannot save you.
Fresh tears began to stream down the creature's pale cheeks.
But I can help you.
Give me another 5 minutes with that pest, and I'll guarantee that he won't get out of here alive.
SCP-682 roared. The doctor looked down mournfully from the observation chamber above the cell. Pestilence, plague, he muttered to himself. Dr. Carver walked in, with a folder in hand.
Here you go. Info on what went down when we let these two at each other. Just some notes though, no footage. You'll have to use your imagination.
The doctor thanked him with a nod, then proceeded to study the notes as Dr. Carver exited the room.
682 has just swallowed 096. I can see movement in 682's abdomen. X-ray footage shows 096 has begun its attack on 682, frantically scratching from within. 682 roars in agony and rage as the side of its abdomen begins to tear and bleed. 096 is tearing its way out of 682, ripping out its ribs. 682 shows signs of distress, but nothing you would expect from a creature having their ribs pulled out. 096 is working his way towards 682's snout. He's stretching his arms and legs. 096 has broken 682's jaw, severely tearing the tissue around its mouth. 682 is sustaining severe damage from 096. However, it does not seem to be having a major effect on 682. Furthermore, 682 is already regenerating lost tissue. 682 snatches up 096 and begins crushing him. Using both forefeet, 682 rips all the flesh from 096's body, reducing him to a skeleton hanging from his own skin, held by 682. 682 leans over the skeleton of 096 and spews acid over its thrashing bones. 682 flings 096 to the opposite side of the cell. 096 remains dripping with acid as it flails about. 682 slumps and makes no attempts to attack 096. 096 begins to calm slightly and starts crying to itself in the southwest corner. 682 lies still in the north end of the room. Approximately 85% of its initial mass is absent. Recontainment teams retrieved 096 with relative ease.
The doctor closed the folder. It was a grim account of the never-ending battle between two immortal beings. It may never reach a conclusion.
Great sorrows in his cries.
The doctor was taken aback by 682's sudden somber tone.
I don't know why, but I feel sorry for him. They're human. They locked us in here, experimenting on us, pitting us against one another. The humans hate us. I can see it in their eyes. They are the real plague on this earth.
Humans, the real plague on this earth, the doctor muttered. With this, the doctor pulled a bag from his robes and produced a syringe. He slowly reached out to the trembling creature.
You'll feel a slight pinch, but it'll be all right. Trust me.
The doctor could feel the creature resisting as he gripped its arm. There was fear in its touch, unlike the tickle monster. As the doctor held the joyful slime, he felt a sense of bliss welling up inside him, something he rarely experienced in the Foundation.
I wonder if 096 is capable of feeling such bliss.
Dr. Bright stopped writing and turned his attention towards the doctor and 999.
Well, you'd be surprised. When 096 breached containment, lots of people died that day. Our guards opened fire, but it was useless. They were mauled down mercilessly. Nines, being the curious one, might have followed the sounds of gunfire and screaming. When he found 096, it just went and hugged its leg. Didn't even think twice. Nines tried to stop its rampage. 096 was confused at first, then it turned angry as usual. It unleashed all its rage upon Nines. Poor Nines. He was torn to pieces. Wholly unrecognizable for a moment. Even now, it breaks my heart to recall how I found him. Claw marks and uneven patches on his body. Chunks of spoiled slime everywhere. Nines' regenerative abilities simply couldn't keep up with 096's flurry of blows. Oh, how he begged and pleaded at 096's feet, all while enduring its abuse. Yet Nines didn't waver one bit. No matter how much 096 was tearing him apart, Nines just kept going back to it. When we arrived, they were hugging each other, crying their hearts out. However, unlike before, 096 sounded as if it was at peace. I remember on the way back, I was angry at Nines. You stupid slime! Why couldn't you just stay put? Why must you put yourself in dangerous situations? Why must you make me worry? But when Nines looked back at me, I felt grateful. As cliche as it sounds, it's funny how kindness managed to accomplish what guns couldn't.
Sounds of shouting and scratching echoed from within the containment cell door. The creature's wails grew louder and more intense. The doctor was trapped in a dilemma. He reflected on his own life. Curing the pestilence was his grand purpose, but here was someone suffering. Was he not a doctor? Was this not his higher calling? For a moment, he saw a glimmer of hope in the creature's eyes, underneath all that hatred, shame, and rage. Perhaps a key to cull the pestilence? The doctor then made his decision. He allowed the creature's head to go limp as he positioned the syringe right on top of its pale arm. With a slight application of pressure, the syringe slipped into the vein to deliver the medicine. Suddenly, the doctor and the creature were beneath the tree. The laughing children were gone. As he drew closer to the creature, he noticed shallow cuts with blood leaking out all across its body. He reached into his bag for something to staunch the flow when the creature's head suddenly snapped up to look directly at him. Its eyes were red and swollen, as if it had been crying for hours. The creature slowly stood up, then sprinted at the doctor with its arms outstretched. For a moment, the doctor was taken aback, the creature running into him in full force. It rocked him in place, then embraced him and sobbed into his robes. The doctor shook his head and tried his best to comfort it. The doctor sat down with the creature until security dragged him away. For a little while, the creature rested. For a little while, it was content and loved. Then somehow, it cried even harder.
In a world where humans are bound by gravity and laws of physics, except for one entity. "'Tis I, the Moon Champion," it declared. It has come from one mission, but it was not the tanks and soldiers surrounding it. Fire! Hail of bullets and rockets rain upon it. However, still it stands. How dare you! Get out of my way!
It rushes upon the men, grabbing one of the tanks and swing at them over and over again.
At last, the men fall. For justice, I will stop anyone! But the target of his mission still stands. And you. Hello everybody, I'm TheRubber. Today, we bring you a SCP Foundation Keter class object SCP-1233. SCP-1233, also known as the Lunatic, is a humanoid entity of unknown composition, which resembles an individual wearing a spacesuit with opaque visor and an extravehicular propulsion jetpack attached on its back. It also self-declared the Moon Champion. 1233's suit has shown durability far exceeding that of a standard spacesuit, despite sharing an identical appearance. It can withstand small arms as well as anti-tank munitions. The jetpack, while ostensibly designed to be practical only in low-gravity orbital conditions and powered by compressed nitrogen, instead appears to utilize some form of anomalously high-powered rocket propulsion system. While being propelled at high speed, 1233 can alter his trajectory in any direction without slowing down. Aside from its equipment, 1233's physical strength is correspondingly anomalous. It has demonstrated the ability to lift and throw objects weighing up to 65,000 kilograms, and can do so repeatedly without showing signs of fatigue. 1233's behavior is erratic, unpredictable, somewhat destructive, yet cordial at times. As for its speech, 1233 talks in a grandiose manner and has a somewhat declamatory male voice, and it does so through a loudspeaker installed in its suit. The following are typical examples of 1233's behavior during his appearances on Earth. He would wander into traffic, which has resulted in lethal collisions due to its lack of awareness to the concept of car traffic and its anomalous properties. He has also challenged a fire hydrant to a single combat, which it then destroyed with a single punch. Ha! You're no match for me, for I am the Moon Champion. I must be away, for I sense a greater danger elsewhere. Sometimes it would interact with the local populace. Why, thank you, Lord President of Earth, for this generous gift of Earth delicacy. May the light of justice forever shine upon you. And with that, it initiated its jetpack, smashed through the roof, and launched itself to space with incredible velocity and back onto the moon. Soon, an incident would bring 1233 back to Earth.
An evil robot has wreaked havoc in Site-109 under the manipulation of an imposter of SCP-049, the Plague Doctor.
Upon sensing evil, the Moon Champion immediately crash-landed into Site-109 through the roof. However, the damage it caused didn't make much difference to the site that was already in shambles. An army of zombies appeared in front of it. As 1233 took a fighting stance, 049, the real Plague Doctor, pushed its way through the zombies and greeted the Moon Champion. At ease, my friend. These are my creations. There is a greater pestilence lurking about. As 1233 eased itself, a voice from high above the sky boomed at them. It was the evil robot, descending towards them in high speed. Exterminate, destroy. With one look at the robot, the Moon Champion grabbed the Plague Doctor, initiated its jetpack, and said, "Both you and your minions, hang on tight. Together, victory shall be ours." With that, 1233 launched into the sky, along with the Plague Doctor and its countless zombie creations all hanging on behind it, forming a great chain of zombies as the Moon Champion rocketed into the sky. They were in microgravity as they flew closer to the evil robot. With its anomalous strength, the Moon Champion swung the chain of zombies by the Plague Doctor's ankles as hard as he could, each link in the chain grabbing onto the next in the same fashion. "Take this, the whip of justice!" The chain of zombies crashed against the metal exterior of the robot. It staggered the robot as its armor started to crack. The Plague Doctor took out his tools from his coat and said to the Moon Champion, "Get me closer to it, Moon Man. I think I can fix this Pestilence." The Moon Champion grabbed onto the Plague Doctor's coat and launched it towards the robot. But they were too slow, as the robot unleashed rays of superheated laser beams upon its enemies. The Plague Doctor was hit before it could get to the robot. No! Moon Champion grabbed the Plague Doctor before it could fall back to the earth.
"I'm fine, my friend. It merely grazed my shoulder. I can easily—"
"You will pay for this!" I said. Filled with rage, the Moon Champion activated his thrusters as he lunged forward. Its fist hit the robot's head with enough force to shatter it in half, sending fragments falling into the Earth's atmosphere in cinders. A second blow followed, sending the evil robot shooting across the vacuum and towards the moon. However, the robot was not easily deterred. It crashed onto the moon's surface and immediately counterattacked by launching multiple missiles towards 1233. Exterminate, destroy. But the Moon Champion was as strong as its resolve. It resisted the barrage of explosion and began to accelerate towards the evil robot. Soon, the Moon Champion was upon it, with two clenched fists burning with justice. "Foul beast, I will destroy you, for Earth, for Moon, for justice." The Moon Champion raised his fists and pounded against its armor in rapid succession. But the robot would not yield, as it struggled against Moon Champion's onslaught. They fought against each other fiercely, exchanging heavy blows one after another. The Plague Doctor watched from far away as he prepared his plan to return to Earth. Back on Earth, the Foundation personnel was trying to stabilize the situation. Suddenly, they saw an object resembling a spacecraft rapidly falling towards their location. They hastily scurried away, and the spacecraft crashed into the ground. The Plague Doctor emerged from it and calmly walked away from the wreckage. "Good day, gentlemen, but I'm afraid there's no time for relaxation. Heads up!" As soon as the Plague Doctor moved away from the crashed spacecraft, a giant burning entity fell from the sky and crashed on top of the spacecraft. It was the evil robot, with sparks shooting out from its heavily dented metal body. The surrounding people watched in awe as the Moon Champion slowly descended from the sky. Its active jetpack kept it levitated in the air. From above, 1233 spoke unto the people. "Fear not, citizens, for I, the Moon Champion, defender of justice, destroyer of evil, have prevailed against that foul beast." When it saw that the robot twitched slightly, 1233 immediately swooped down, lifted up a Foundation vehicle, and threw it against the robot with incredible strength. "Stay down, you worm! And now I must be away, gentlemen. I bid you all farewell. Moon Champion, away!" With that, the Moon Champion activated its thrusters and launched itself into the sky, leaving the awestruck spectators in piles of burning wreckage.
SCP-049 has expressed frustration or remorse after these killings, indicating that they have done little to kill the Pestilence, though will usually seek to then perform a crude surgery on the corpse. These surgeries are often result in the creation of instances of SCP-049 too. So this so-called Plague Doctor, how many was it really kills? And how terrifying will it be? Hello everybody, I'm TheRubber. Today, we bring you a SCP Foundation Euclid class object, SCP-049. In SCP Foundation, which SCP is your favorite? Let us know in the comment below. SCP-049 is a humanoid entity, roughly 1.9 meters in height, weight 95.3 kilograms, which bears the appearance of a medieval Plague Doctor.
While it appears to be wearing the thick robes and the ceramic mask indicative of that profession, the garments instead seem to have grown out of its body over time and are now nearly indistinguishable from whatever form is beneath them. X-rays indicate that despite this, 049 does have a humanoid skeletal structure beneath its outer layer. While SCP-049 is generally cordial and cooperative with Foundation staff, it can become especially irritated or, at times, outright aggressive if it feels that it is in the presence of what it calls the Pestilence. 049 will become hostile with individuals it sees as being affected by the Pestilence. If left unchecked, it will generally attempt to kill any such individual. It is capable of causing all biological functions of an organism to cease through direct skin contact. How this occurs is currently unknown. There was one record show 049 quickly closed the distance between the subject, killing the subject with a touch of its throat. 049 has expressed frustration or remorse after these killings, indicating that they have done little to kill the Pestilence, though will usually seek to then perform a crude surgery on the corpse using the implements contained within a black doctor's bag it carries on its person at all times. While these surgeries are not always successful, they often result in the creation of instances of 0492. 0492 instances are reanimated corpses that have been operated on by 049. These instances do not seem to retain any of their prior memories or mental functions, having only basic motor skills and response mechanisms. While these instances are generally inactive, moving very little, and in a generally ambulatory fashion, they can become extremely aggressive if provoked, or if directed to by 049. Despite these alterations, 049 often remarks that the subjects have been cured. SCP-049 was discovered during the investigation of a series of unknown disappearances in the town of Montauban in southern France. During a raid on a local home, investigators found several instances of 0492 as well as 049. While law enforcement personnel engaged the hostile 0492 instances, it was noted as watching the engagement and taking notes in its journal. After all of the 0492 instances were dispatched, 049 willingly entered Foundation custody. 049 has spent a considerable amount of time studying and performing surgery on the various mammalian corpses it has been provided. It will routinely spend several days performing surgery, and then, regardless of whether or not the corpse becomes an instance of 0492, spending several more days documenting its findings in a thick leather journal stored within its doctor's bag. It will often seek to share its findings with members of Foundation staff. According to one record, 049 spent several days operating on the orangutan, reanimating it several times. However, 049 appeared to be discontent with the results it experienced, returning to the creature 3 times after its initial reanimation for additional work. After it was unable to reanimate the corpse a 5th time, 049 turned the corpse over to Foundation staff for incineration. As time goes by, on April 16, 2017, as Dr. Raymond Ham was entering SCP-049's test chamber to conduct another routine interview, the entity began to grow anxious and asked Dr. Ham if he was feeling well. Following protocol, Dr. Ham reminded 049 that the interview was required, after which the entity became hostile and attacked Dr. Ham, killing him. Due to a lapse in security protocol and because Dr. Ham did not activate the in-chamber emergency system, Dr. Ham's corpse was not discovered until 3 hours later, by which point 049 had converted it into an instance of 0492. I hope you enjoyed today's video. Have you ever heard or encountered any paranormal event? Let us know in the comment below. We will draw your story and share it with the world. Don't forget to click like, subscribe to this channel, and hit the bell. Please share it to your friends if you like this video. Thank you so much for watching, and we will see you in the next video. Bye-bye.